welcome back to Life Enrichment with Hank Ballinger. Today, I want to ask you this question. What would happen if I gave you a $100 bill? Now, most people say, well, that would be a good thing, and I don't disagree, but nonetheless, most people would think, well, that's great. I have $100. Now I can buy $100 worth of stuff. Wait just a minute. When we get into this, you'll see that's not the case. But before we get into that, we'd like to say thank you for those who watch this channel. If you can, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share us with others, tell everybody on Facebook, please. We're trying to help the average person be able to get out of the grind, get out of the day-to-day workforce, to be able to set goals, achieve those goals, get control of their life, and to be able to accomplish the goals that they would like to set and what they would like to do in life, not just do what someone else wants them to do. So we appreciate all your efforts. Now, most people would think if I gave them $100, that would be a good thing, and it would. But what is the value of $100? The value of $100 is, well, $100. You could buy $100 worth of stuff at the grocery store or $100 worth of stuff at Walmart. You possibly could pay someone $100 for labor. So if I gave you $100, that would be $100 you could spend on something else, buying something or paying someone for labor. But what if I told you you could not spend that $100, nor could you pay someone for labor? You couldn't do anything with that $100. I give you the $100, but then all you could do is set it up on a shelf and let it sit there. Now, what is the value of that $100? Well, obviously, the value of that $100 now is zero. It lost all value. It is worth nothing. You can't do anything with it. It has zero value. That is exactly what unused equity is like. If you have equity in your home or equity in real estate that you're not using that equity to buy other stuff, that unused equity is sitting there, but it's not doing anything. It has no power. It has no force. Let me give you an illustration. I know there's a lot of numbers on here, a lot of numbers on this board. We're going to walk through it. It should be self-explanatory, but just trust me here. We're going to go through these numbers. They will make sense. Let's say you had a home valued at $125,000. And let's say that you had this home paid for. You didn't know a dime. You have $125,000 worth of equity in your home, but it's not doing anything. Do you realize that there are only 3 days that your home has any value? The day you buy it, the day you sell it, or the day you refinance it, or take money out to buy something else. So there's only 3 days. So let's say you have this $125,000 home and it's paid for, but you're not doing anything with that. So you decide, hey, you know what, I would like to take that equity and maybe get into real estate. Okay, now some people would say, no, I would never put any debt against my house. Not going to do it. Don't want to put debt against my house. I'm going to keep my house free and clear, and that's fine. If that's you, that's your plan, that's your system, great. But if you were to want to, let me show you what that equity could do. Now, let's say you have a home, $125,000 value, it's paid for. You go to the bank and you say, hey, would you give me a loan? And they'd say, well, we will go up to 80% of the value of the home. Now, you take away 20% because they're only going to give you an 80% LTV loan. So what they would take away from the 125 is 25,000. That's 20%. So the amount of money the bank would loan you against the house is $100,000. So you have $100,000 worth of usable equity in that home. So let's say you decide, I want to buy $1 million property. Well, you realize that most banks would say, well, you got to have 20% down. But you've only got $100,000. You only have 10%. But you have $1 million property over here that someone wants to sell you, but you only have 10%. What about if you did a 10% owner finance, meaning the owner, the seller that's selling you the property is going to carry 10%. Here's the way you do that. Maybe he says, okay, I will, this is the owner finance. The owner, this is owner finance. He says he will carry the $100,000 that he's going to carry, the 10%, at 5%, amortized on 20 years. So your payment to him each month is $660. So you got to pay him just like you would the bank. Now, that same bank that's going to give you the loan for the property is also going to put that $100,000 against your house. So you have a $100,000 loan against your house at 7%. That's generally what loan amounts are, the interest rate, and on 30 years, because that's your primary resident, they will go 30 years, not just 25. Okay, so the equity that you're taking out of your house, the $100,000 at 7%, 30 years, your payment, your debt service to the bank on that is $665. Now you now have $665 worth of debt against your house that you got to pay the bank every month that you didn't have before. But hold on. You probably won't have to pay that. The property that you're buying will. Let's look at this. So you buy $1 million property. $100,000 of that is owner finance. You're paying him, the owner, $660 a month. You're paying a debt service on the $100,000 equity you take out of your house of $665. And when you take the $1 million property, take away $100,000 owner finance and $100,000 down payment, the equity from your house, that means you have a $800,000 debt with the bank at 7% and on 25 years. Most banks won't go over 25. So your payment to the bank each month is $56.54.23. Your taxes is $835. Your insurance is $630. Your garbage is $70, and your maintenance each month is $1,400. Now there's a rough figures. No way to be exact on every deal, but roughly. So your expenses per month on this property you bought, your total expenses, your debt service, taxes, insurance, garbage, and maintenance is $8,589.23. But remember, you have a debt service to the seller of $660 and a debt service on your house now of $665. But let's look at the income from that property. Okay, if you bought $1 million property today, you could get about 14 units. Let's say you bought 14 two-bedroom units at $715 rent per month for each unit. Now, why did I say that? The 1% rule. If you buy $1 million piece of property, that property needs to be bringing in $10,000 a month. So this property hits the 1% rule. It's called the RVE ratio or the 1% rule. So it's bringing in $10,000 or 1% of $1 million. So it's worth what you're paying for it. So you have $10,000 income. Now let's look at all of your expenses. Your expenses here on the $1 million property you're buying is $85.89.23. That's here. Your debt service to the owner that's selling you the property is $660. The debt service that you had on the house is $665. Now, if you take your income at $715 per month coming in per unit, take away all your debt services to the bank, 2 payments, one on the building, one on your home, and then your debt service to the seller, you're left with $95.77 a month coming in. That's if they're all rented and you don't have to buy anything big and your expenses doesn't go over $1,400. There may be months that it does, but let's just say that you made $95.77 per month. Now, remember that $100? If you do nothing with it, it has no value. It's gaining nothing. Same with your house. If you have $125,000 equity in your house and you don't put it to use, you wouldn't get that $95. Oh, hold on. That $95 is not even close to all that you will get per month. That's all you will get in cash flow. But the good thing about real estate is there's something called phantom income. Now, phantom income works like this. When you make this debt service to the bank each month, you will be making part of that payment will be principal and part of that payment will be interest. The part of that payment that is principal is equity. You're in essence paying a payment to the bank, and some of that amount that you're paying, this $56.54, part of that amount comes off of the principal, which is equity back in your pocket as phantom income. So the phantom income on this is $987.57. So in essence, it's almost $1,000 that goes back in your pocket each month as equity in this property. And every month, that amount is getting bigger. The principal gets bigger each month and the interest goes down. So this is just the very first month. Every month thereafter, the phantom income will go up. Now, the same with this. As you pay this seller, you will make this is usable equity in your home, the $100,000. You will make $82 a month in phantom income on that one. And on this owner finance, you will make $243 of phantom income. And remember, each of these will go up each month too. This is just the first month. Every month thereafter, you will gain more phantom income. So let's just look at the very first month. How much phantom income? $987 on the building, $243 on the owner finance, and $82 on the equity from your home. So in essence, you're making $1,312.57 just on phantom income. We're not even close to done yet. Every April when you go file your taxes, you're going to get depreciation on this property. Here, if you have this property but you're paying nothing on it, you get no depreciation. You can't write off that interest. You're paying no interest. Here, you can write off the interest and the depreciation. In April, when you file your taxes, you get depreciation. That's additional phantom income, and you will probably get money back. Here, with this house paid off, you get nothing. And it's hard to put an amount on that phantom income that you're going to get back because of depreciation on your taxes, because that is going to vary from year to year. No way to put a number on it, but it is additional phantom income that you will get. So you would have your phantom income plus this $95.77 per month, putting this right at $1,400 every month. Plus, when you do your taxes, you will probably get money back from depreciating the property. Plus, you will now get depreciation on your home because you have a debt against it. But we're still not done. Remember, your rents were at $715 for 2 bedrooms. What if you get that rent up on 14 units to $850 per bedroom, which is going rate in Richmond, Kentucky, where I live at the time? That means your rent now is $11,900, whereas it was $10,010, which means you make an additional $1,890 over this. You did have $1,400, some in cash flow, some in phantom, but you now have in cash flow $1,890, almost $1,900 in cash flow every month, plus phantom income that will go up each month, plus when you file your taxes, you will get depreciation on this property and this property just because you put this equity to work. You now get equity in your home each month, and you get equity in your real estate each month. Whereas here, you get no more equity in your property each month other than possibly property value going up. But you also get no write-offs each year because you're putting nothing to work. See, equity that is sitting there doing nothing will cost you. This way, if, let's say, in time, remember you've got this on a 30-year amortization. If you had this house paid for and it was $125,000 in 30 years, it might double that. But it's going to double that no matter what. So here, it would double it in 30 years, and it would be worth now 200 and something, but this property will probably double too. And now you would have a $2 million property plus $225,000 property just because you put that equity to work. Money sitting around doing nothing has no value. Same with the equity in your house. Same with the equity in your property. If you have real estate, put that equity to work and it will help build your wealth. You can become redneck rich just like this. See you on the next video.